Alright, welcome back to another Python programming tutorial, and today we are going to be discussing various operations that you can perform on both arrays and lists. So just to review, an array is essentially a way to store multiple datum underneath one variable. A list is the exact same, and the difference between an array and a list is that an array can only contain one specific type of data, in this case all integers, or all strings, where a list can contain different datum, right? The technical term for this in computer science is homogeneous for the same type of data and non-homogeneous for different types of data. We would call this a homogeneous data structure and this a non-homogeneous data structure. Very fancy words for a simple concept, which means that these are the same, all the same, and these can be different. Now, when it comes to working with arrays and lists, there's four common things that you'll oftentimes do to an array or a list. And these can be summarized with the CRUD operations. So CRUD, in the context of programming or computer science, is an acronym, and it stands for create, read, update, and delete. Whenever you're working with data, whether that be a database, a data structure, or just in general data, oftentimes you will be doing one of these four things to your data, right? And that's pretty much the whole concept behind, programming generally in general is you're updating or getting or doing something with data, right? So let's go ahead and just look at the basics behind an array and how you can use it. The first and obviously the most used operation when it comes to these four operations is going to be the read operation. Now, to read information from an array or a list is very, very easy. All you have to do is type in, I'm just going to type in a print statement here so it displays to the console window, but you don't have to do that. You're simply going to type in the array's variable name, in this case is number. I'll use number. You're going to put two brackets just like so, and then here you're going to type in the indices of the array. And just in case you didn't watch part one, the indices are where the elements appear inside the array. So for example here, 10 would be considered the 0th index. I'm going to change this to 20 for this example. 20 would be considered the first index, 30 would be the second index, 60 would be the third. Remember, in Python, arrays are zero based, meaning they start with 0 and count up. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very, very important concept that we must understand is that it's zero based. So if I type in 0, which is the index I'm after, it's going to go to the numbers here, the array with the variable name number, and it's going to grab the element at the 0th index, which is 10. So again, this is a 10 is the 0th index of number. So when I do number brace 0, I get 10. And I'm going to go ahead and run this, and you'll see 10 it will display here on my console window. So just like that, you can read and grab information from arrays. So for example, if I ask for this, the second index here, I get 30. And same thing here with names. If I type in the name rays, or excuse me, the variable names, which contains this array, I will get 0, 1, 2, and the weird. And I'll go ahead and run this, and as you see, it prints that to the window. All right, so not only can you read arrays like this, but sometimes you may want to read different information. Let's do a very common one where I check and see how many of a specific number are in my array. So I go ahead and type in number, and I can type in count. And then in count, I'm going to provide a value. So what this does is this returns to me the amount of tens that exist in this array. So let's say this was customer ages, and I was wondering how many of the customers are age 10, right? This would tell me. So it's going to go through the array, and when 10 appears, it counts it, and then it returns the amount. So in this case, I'll get 3. And this is another way in Python you can gain or read information from an array, and can be very, very, very useful. So that's pretty much the basics behind reading information from arrays. There's various other methods that we will cover, but those are just some of the basics for now. You can also sort the array and change up the order, but that isn't really reading, that's more of updating. moving right along here, let's go ahead and look at how to create a value or add a value to an array or list. Now, the main way you would do it is you would just do an append method. So it's append to parentheses, and here you can put in whatever you want. Now, the thing with the append method is that it's always going to add it to the end of your array or list. So you can't specify where you'd want to put it. So as you can see here, it appended to the list, and now if I printed number to the console window, I have that new element to my list, or excuse me, to my array. Right, so that's one way to do it. Now, another way you can do it is you can also do the extend method. The extend method is going to take two lists or two arrays and combine them together. So I have the extend here, and essentially I'm going to put in names. And essentially what this is going to do is going to take numbers and it's going to add this onto it. And as you can see, it extended my array or my two arrays and created a list here. And that is the keyword extends. And this is essentially how you can create new values and add new values here. There's one other nice keyword here, and that's going to be the insert. So insert, unlike append, allows you to specify the specific index at which you want to add the element. So I'm going to go ahead and do numbers.insert here. And then first, I'm going to go ahead and type in the place where I want to insert it. So I want to insert it at 1. So this will now be at the first index. And I'm going to put the 200, for example. And then we're going to go ahead and print numbers here. When I go ahead and run this, it's going to go to the first index here, and it's going to put that in, and it's going to shift all the ones over to the right. And it's very important that all of these will be shifted over to the right here. And that is the insert method. So these are ways that you can create or add values to your array/list data structure. Now, to update information is not too bad either. To update, it's quite simple actually. You're just going to type in number, and you're going to type in the indice in which you want to update. Let's say I want to update the second indice of number, which would be 30 here. Remember, this is 0, 1, 2. I then just set that equal to whatever I want. And I'm going to go ahead and print number now. And as you can see, it it replaced 30 here and made it into 100. And that essentially is how you can update information inside of your array/list. And that's a very, very, very nice one. You can also change the order of things, which technically is an update on the array. So another good one would be reverse, which is going to reverse the order, obviously, of the array. So I have it this order, and now it's going to reverse. And as you can see, it's 10, 60, 30, 10, 10. And then if I ask for the first indice, I would get 10. Right? So that's another nice one. And then you can also ask it to sort as well. Sort is another nice one. So sort here is going to sort the list in the extending order. It obviously doesn't return anything, and you can pass the keys and whether you want it to reverse here as well, but you can also just use sort here, and it's going to go ahead and sort your list or array. And as you can see, I now have 10, 10, 10, 30, 60. This can be very, very useful in specific cases. And again, I would consider this an update because you are changing the order of these numbers and updating this data structure to a new data structure. And without further ado, let's go ahead and cover the last CRUD operation, which is going to be the delete. So delete, you would use two methods here. The first and most used method is going to be pop. Pop is going to allow you to delete a element at a specific index. So for example, if I want to get rid of the 1 here, right, it's going to go ahead and delete the value here at 1. So I'm going to go ahead and run this, and this 10 here will be removed from the array. Excuse me, I got to print the array. My mistake. Go ahead and print. And as you can see, it removed this 10, so now I just 30, 10, 30, 60, 10. Right? No longer 5, just 4 elements. You can also use the remove keyword. Remove removes based on a value. So if I asked it to remove 30, for example, it's going to go ahead and remove 30 from the array. So let's go ahead and look. I'm just going to add 10, 10, 60, 10. And as you can see, it did that just like so. It also works with multiple different datum, as you can see here. So for example, if you had 10 here multiple times, notice that it removed the first 10 that it came across. Right, so that's how this remove works when you have multiple of the same type of number or same type of data in here. It's going to remove the very first one that it comes across. And yeah, that's pretty much the main operations that you can perform on your datum here. Most of the time when somebody does a pop, they're always going to pop the very front of your data set. So probably like a pop 0 is a very common way to do this, and I'll just get rid of this first one here. All right, so that's all. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one.